In this video, we will begin to apply doors and windows to the northern home, all three levels. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the markups. And if you notice, there's going to be some modifications to the markups. We're going to add some doors or windows or modify them. Definitely we're going to be modifying the way that we're going to be labeled them. If you notice closely in here, if we wanted to take a look at, let's take a close look here at what we've got in terms of the windows. The window tags are located on the outside, and right now they have letters on them. So you have window type A, B, and C, and the same window type would be labeled C and C, just like that. The doors, on the other hand, are numbered numerically, starting with 1 for the front door and working their way around the house, very similar to what we did in the Marion. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using individual numbers to tag these doors. Now, where are we going to get this information from? We're going to be getting it from the door and window schedules. So here's the alternative for the stairway that we're going to be doing. We're going to be, again, labeling the windows on the outside, but we're going to be numbering them. If we continue through to the second level, again, you can see the windows and doors located there. And the same thing applies to the basement. So the information that we're going to get from that is going to be located here and on the window and door schedule. If you take a close look, these windows and doors are sized right here. These are basically modular sizes, so the majority of windows are about 5 foot high, and they're either 8 foot wide, 4 foot wide, 3 foot 6, 6 foot by 4 foot, and right here they have the type of window. So a lot of them are casements or double casements. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a close look at what we've got in there, and we're going to be making some slight modifications to them. The same thing applies to the doors. They're all either 3/0s by 6/8 or 2/8, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way for now. And I'm going to be using both of those drawings to go ahead and begin to locate the windows and doors. So where do we find those? Once again, we can go to the Home tab. If we go to our tools, you'll see under the Design Tools, we should be able to find a number of window and door types there. We can also find them in the Content Browser. And finally, we know that this items, the design tools and the properties are located here as docked palettes on the left-hand side. So let's go down to Tool Palettes Design, and this time let's go ahead and let's go down to Doors, and we can see already a series of existing doors that are already located in there, such as bifolds, hinged singles, hinged doubles, overhead doors, overhead sectionals, pockets, sliding, etc. And once again, if you don't find the door or window that we're supposed to be using there, we can go ahead and locate it in the Content Browser. Again, this is sort of a subchapter of the Content Browser that we can then enter and pick out the doors by dragging it either directly into the drawing itself or placing it for further use on the palette. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start marking where the center of these doors. We're going to start with the windows and doors on the exterior, and we're going to be locating the locations of the centers of those. And we're going to go once again. We're going to go to, in this case, we're going to go to depth points, and I'm going to draw some guidelines. So we can use these guidelines then to locate the doors and the windows. As an example, the 2 garage doors here, I know we're offsetting 6 feet from the end. That's based on the drawing. There are going to be the center marks for our garage doors located right into there. Now I can go ahead and work my way over here to find out where our front door is going to be located. So based on the drawing in here, I can once again I can take this line right in here, and I'm going to locate it. I'm going to copy it and copy this line over, And according to the markups, it's 6 foot 6 1/2 inches. So I'm going to go 6 foot 6.5 over there, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that up in here. And I've got another 6 foot 8 to the wall, and then 3 foot 7 1/4 to the center of the door. So I'm going to go ahead and copy there and pull that over 6 foot 8. Locates right there, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it one more time. And I'm going to locate this one where they indicate at 3 foot 7 3/4. I'm just going to go ahead and make it 3 foot 8. Again, trying to avoid any obvious fractions to that. Then it give me another location from this wall down, and I've got 6 foot 5 3/4 and 6 foot 1 from the end. So let's go ahead and copy this one right in here. And I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that one as, let's go ahead and do that one as about 6 foot 4. Now again, this is nothing etched in stone. We can always modify that. Sometimes you'll want to put that center line. I would just put it probably mid between these 2 points and draw it right into there. Let's go ahead and delete the one that they've got. And there we've got it centered right on the room. So let's go ahead and let's start with, there are no windows located on the main level here on this side, but there are going to be a number of them in the back. So I am going to go ahead and let's see, we've got a distance from here. I'm going to copy that over, moving that over here to 17 foot 6 inches. And what this marks is the side of the fireplace. I'm going to offset that 3 foot 2. And if you remember, our supports for that are what's happening down below. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center the 2 windows that are here. I'm going to center them by using mid between 2 points located right into there, and offset these 3 feet in each direction. And now these 2 windows are going to be centered on this room right here. Let's go ahead and, in this case, we're going to have a sliding glass door. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And I'm going to copy it over 8 foot 8 inches. We have one inside here in the laundry room, so I could work this from the inside of the room. And of course I can move it a few inches one way or the other to avoid fractions. And then we've got one here for this room. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the line in there, this time from the mid between these 2 rooms right into there to the outside. So we've got all the windows and doors on these 3 sides of the house. We've got one door in here, which is a pedestrian door going into the garage from the front porch. And of course we've got the door and window here on the side. So let's go ahead, and they've got this designated as 10 feet. So I'm going to copy this over. Up 10 feet right here. And then we've got another door there that they've located as 2 feet from this point right here. I'm just going to go ahead and move that one down 2 feet. And I think that's excellent right there. And this one, they don't really tell me where it is. They don't have a dimension. That's one of those rare instances where they don't have a dimension. So for now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from the brick right here, and I'm going to copy it over, and let's move it over at least 4 feet. And that's probably a pretty good location for it. It's going to be located right there. We've got a couple of more doors, but these are all going to be interior doors, and so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be locating them, maybe centering it in here, leaving just enough room on either side to make sure we have casings, etc. So let's go ahead and let's begin with our windows first. and then we'll place our doors. So I'm going to find out where these windows and doors are first. So we know that this one is designated as Windows C. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my door and window schedule and find C, and it says that they're 4.0 by 5.0 casement windows. Now a 4.0 wide casement window is a little bit big, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a double casement in this case. Might be different from what the book says, but let's go ahead and let's do that. So I'm going to go down to my tool palettes right here, and I'm going to widen that out just a little bit because I really cannot read everything that's in there. Let's grab it by the grip there, and let's see what we've got. I've got single full light. I don't have, well, those are doors. Let's go to windows. There's casement and casement double. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my casement double. I'm going to place one right here for now. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move it. And I want to move it from midpoint. Let's undo that. I'm going to go ahead and move it. And I'm going to move from the midpoint here to that intersection there. I'm going to go ahead and take the copy command. And I'm going to move that from there to there. Now I'm going to check the size of both of these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to what the door schedule is. I'll highlight both of them because they're identical right now. And I've got to change the width from 3 feet to 4 feet. The height is correct. And I want to make sure that my head height is at 6'8". I'm going to leave it at that for now. Now if you notice, they moved from one side. So the first thing I should have done was change the size. So I'm going to go ahead and recenter it to where we wanted it. I'm going to find my center mark right there. There's the first one. I'm going to repeat move. There's my second one. All right, so I got my first 2 casement windows. Now here we've got a door, so I would need to place a door. Let's go ahead and place these 2 windows in first. So I'm going to go back to my floor plan, and those are designated as H and G. So going back to my schedule, I'm going to look for H, and that is a 4.0 by 3.6, so it's 4.0 wide by 3.6 high, and that is a sliding glass window. So let's go ahead and let's find a slider. This may be located as a glider right in here, so I'm going to go ahead and place that here for now. And once again, it's telling me that it is 4.0 wide by 3.6 high. So I'm going to go ahead and change it first. So it's 4.0 wide, and it's 3 foot 6 inches high. I'm going to double check that. There we go. And my head height, let's check that also. And that is at 6'8". Now I'm going to go ahead and move it to its proper location, which is from there to this point. And then I've got another one in here. Let's see what type that was. And that one is a G. And my G window is 5 foot wide by 3'6" also. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and since it's the same type, I'm going to go ahead and copy it. I'm going to copy it over first, and I'm going to change the width here. Go to the properties, and this one happens to be 5 foot wide. Now I'm going to go ahead and move it from its midpoint. Let's find that, and I'm going to move it right to there. So I've got those located. I've got my sliding glass door there that I'm going to do. I've got one other window in here, and I've got one in there. I've got a couple of windows here as side lights, but those are going to be unique, as is the window here in the front. So let's go ahead and find this window down in here. I'm going to go back to my floor plan, and that is a G also. Okay, so let's go back and find our G is a 5.0 by 3.6 slider, which is the same as this one in here. So let's see if we can copy this one. Let's go ahead and copy it from that point and see if it'll at least go in sideways. That worked pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and move it from its midpoint to perpendicular to that. Now, notice a little bit of a problem in here. So this window style, if you take a look at it, it doesn't look like it's embedded inside the wall. And one of the problems is that the jambs are too big. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit that style. And anything else that's going to be a glider, no matter what the size, but that style is going to modify. We're going to want to do this with most of our windows. So let's go ahead and highlight that window. We're going to right click it. And on this pop-up menu, one of the options here is Edit Window Style. So we're going to go ahead and left click on Edit Window Style. And we're going to change some of the parameters on the dimensions for this. So we get a pop-up window. I'm going to go to Dimensions. If you take a look at the frame right here, it's got a 2-inch frame into there, and it's got a depth of 5 inches. Well, that is obviously why our jambs are, our frame is sticking out. So all we need to do is to click right here to adjust for width of wall, do OK, and we've got it changed there. Now that what that does is going to change any other window there that's that style. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with the casement windows. Edit Window Style, and once again we're going to go ahead and change that to Auto Adjust. That one already happened to be the right size, and I think so far those are all the window types that we've been using. Let's go ahead and find out what this window is here in the kitchen. So let's go back to our plan and find out what the tag was. That is also a G, so we can just copy it from here. Enter. We'll copy it from down here and place it. This time we're not going to place it on the 4-inch brick. We're going to place it right on the stud frame. Now we're going to see that that creates a little bit of a problem because our window is going to be covering that, but we'll fix that later on. So again, it's also the exact same size. So it is, the G window is 5 feet wide and 3 foot 6 inches high. So let's go ahead and take a look at this front window. And if you take a look at the front window in our markups, it's actually a combination window. So it's got casements, but it's also got a fixed panel in the middle. So we're going to do something a little bit different on this one. We're just going to place a window there and make sure we locate it the right size. And let's go ahead and what size window that is. That is an 8.0 by 5.0 window. And I'm just going to do it as a double casement for now, but we're going to modify that later on and create a new style or create a window assembly that we'll be able to use. So let's go ahead and let's go to our tool palettes and our windows. Let's select casement double. Again, place it on the stud wall, not the other one. And I'm going to modify that one. And its properties, I'm going to make it 8 foot wide. And we're going to keep it at 5 foot high. So I'm going to go ahead and move it. And I'm going to move it from the midpoint to the midpoint of there. Oops, wrong way. I'm going to move it from here to here, and we've got it now centered where we want it to be. Now let's go ahead and let's start placing some doors. I think that covers all the windows. We've got one door to place here. We've got doors here, we got windows, we got garage doors, another one in there. We've got a couple of windows on either side of the front door, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place those afterwards. So let's start and work our way from the front. Our front door is a 3.0 by 6.8. Now once again we're going to select a door. We're going to go to our tool palettes for design and click on our door tab. And I'm going to find one here and see if we can find hinged single full light if we wanted that to be like a French door. But for now, let's just do hinged single. We can always change the style later on. So let's just go ahead and do hinged single right above it. And I'm going to place it on the stud wall. And I'm going to find out which way it opens. And I can always move that. Now I want to make sure when I'm placing this door that we don't have the same issue with the frame. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to edit door style, I'm going to check for dimensions, and this already has auto adjust to width of walls. So it doesn't matter if it's in a 6-inch wall or a 4-inch wall. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to move First of all, I'm going to find out what the size of this one is. It's supposed to be 3.0 by 6.8. So right now it's 3.0 by 7 feet, so I'm going to change that to 6'8". Okay, right here it means the vertical alignment is based on the threshold. So that now is correct, and I am going to go ahead and move it. And I'm going to choose mid between 2 points and move that right to there. Now I'm going to go ahead and check and see if they have it opening in or if they have it left to right. Right now it's hinged in the correct manner and it's going in just like they show it. Now they show it at an angle of maybe about 45 degrees, and if you wanted to do that, we could highlight the door and change our swing angle percentage, let's say to 45 degrees, and that would change it like that. I don't like to do that, so I'm going to keep all of these at 90, even though the drawing shows it a little bit different. So now all of these are hinged single, which is the same style that we're going to be using for a lot of the other doors on the inside. Now this one may not be located exactly where I want it, so I may make a slight modification if some of these numbers don't occur in terms of the right distancing. For example, this line right in here, I want to check my distance from here to the center point right here. It's giving me 3'8" and 1/2, so I'm going to go ahead and move my door over just maybe a 1/2 inch, and I think that works out good. Now once I've got that door in, I'm going to go ahead and locate my 2 side light windows. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go back and check out, those are listed as A, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my schedule, find out what type they are. They are 1.0 by 5.0, and they are tempered glass, and they're fixed windows, so the top also should be at the same point as the doors are. So they're going to be at 6'8". So let's go back and find their location, and let's find a couple of windows that are going to fit our need. So I'm going to go over here to the tool palette, the design. I'm going to try to go to my windows right in here, and I'm going to use a picture window, and I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to click another one here on this side. Now that looks ridiculous, like it's going right through the wall, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the sizes. For those 2 are the same. I'm only going to do 1 foot wide. The height is correct, and my head height is correct. So they are the right size, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move them, and I'm going to move them flush right there, and I'm going to move this one flush there. Now once again, it looks like the frame is a little bit smaller than the wall, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight it, edit window style once again, and this time I'm going to do edit adjust, and it'll match perfectly there at that point. So for now we've got all our windows located. Let's go ahead and let's start placing doors on the inside. So let's begin by locating the front door. We've located. We've got a closet door directly on the other side of the front door. I'm going to find out what door number 5 is, and we've got door number 7 in the bath. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my schedule. Door number 5 is a 2.6 by 6.8, and door number 7 is a 2.4 by 6.8 pocket. So we've got a 2.6 by 6.8 door right here, and I'm just going to copy that door, and I'm going to copy it from here right to there. I'm going to change the size. This one is supposed to be 2.6 by 6.8. I'm going to move it into position right here. Now I don't really need to exactly locate where it is, but I do have to make sure my swing matches the swing that we have that's in the drawing. And right here I'm going to go ahead and now find a pocket door. So I'm going to go here under doors, and I'm going to try to find a single pocket rather than a double. So there's pocket single. I'm going to locate that right here, and I'm going to go back. That pocket, that 7 was, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2.4 by 6.8. going to highlight that, and let's fix that to 2'4", and the height is 6'8". And one thing we have to make sure is that we put it opening in the right direction. A pocket door, even though it takes up very little space, it actually takes up quite a bit of space inside of the wall. So right now we have it opening in the wrong direction. I'm going to flip it back in that direction. And I know that my countertop is going to be about 2 feet. So for now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move a guideline this way about 2 feet. And I'm going to go ahead and move my door down so that I have about 3 or 4 inches left for a casing in there, and that leaves room here to put our toilet so we're not walking right into the toilet. We can even move it probably a little bit more. As long as you have about 3 inches to the edge of the countertop, 3 to 4 inches would be fine. So we've got those doors. We don't have any doors right here. In fact, we have to make some modifications in here. We have an opening in here, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Let's go ahead and let's finish putting the doors that we need in here. We've got a location where we didn't quite finish what we needed to do here in terms of the pantry. So we've got a couple of more wall modifications to do here. We've also got a couple of distances here that we want to the outside. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and copy this about 2'6" out this way. And I'm going to copy this down. That says 1'2", and then maybe about 3'9". So I'm going to copy this one, and that one's going to be about 1'2". I'm going to move it to 1'4". That's going to be for our chase. And then I can copy this over, and it says 3'9". I'm going to copy it over . Let's make it 3'10". Maybe a little bit too big, but let's go ahead and just leave it like that. Now this needs to be a 4-inch wall. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. As we know, my distance there is correct. I'm going to change the properties from a stud 6 to a stud 4. That works. So I'm going to go ahead and use this to trim. There's going to be my chase. And then I can fillet these 2 walls, and now I have room for my next door that's going to be located right here inside the pantry. So I need to look for door number 10. So let's go ahead and let's go to this schedule, and let's look for 10. It's a 3/0 by 6/8 bifold. So let's go down here to our tools, and there's our bifold. There's a single. So I'm going to place it right here. I'll place it on that wall, and I'm going to change the size now to 3/0 by 6/8. Let's see what size we've got. Let's change this to 6'8". Okay, that works out. And let's go ahead and move this one over so that we get return on each side. Now this is sort of centered on the inside. You know that really you're not going to put a casing inside the pantry, but what you want to do is make sure that you sort of center it so that it looks like it's going to be correctly placed in there. I'm going to go ahead and check and make sure that my swing is going in the right direction. It's a little bit reversed right now, that I could sort of tell, so I'm going to flip the swing so that it hinges back onto this direction. We're going to have an opening here. We're going to have an opening here. I'm also going to do a little bit of changes right here. I'm going to leave that the way it is for now. Even though the plan shows it here, we are going with the alternative. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to fillet this wall to there, and I'm going to make sure to stretch this wall back up and line it up there so that it lines up. And this is where our stairway is going to be going down. This is the first tread going up to the second floor, and on this side this is going to be our first tread, or our first riser, I'm sorry, going down to the basement. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this out, and that's going to be our first step going down. We're going to discuss this wall later on. Okay, so all of that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and trim this out right now. That I can probably change later on and turn it into a proper layer rather than depth points right now. So that looks pretty good what I'm doing there. I've got a couple more doors on this level right in here. Let's look for door number 4 in here. There's no door going here, but there's 2 door number 3s going to the outside and a door number 2. So let's head over back to our schedule. And so let's look for door number 4. That is going to be a 2.8 by 6.8, and that's going to be located right here. And our 2 door number 3s are also 2.8 by 6.8. So we can take, since we know that they're going to be swing doors, I can take this door right here, and I'm going to place one here, place one here, and place one here. And I'm going to find out the size. They're 2.6, so I'm going to highlight these two, find out what size they are. Those are 2.6, that's fine. And I think this one is supposed to be 2.8. Actually, they're all supposed to be 2.8, so I'm going to highlight all of them, go to the properties, and change it from 2.6 to 2.8, right in there. Now I'm going to look to see which way they've got them swinging on the plan. This one swings inside and hinges in the other direction. So you see these little arrows in here, those are the things I'm hitting to be able to make those go in the right direction. Once again, I'm bringing this close to the edge, so the door when open is kind of flat against there. And then this one they've got swinging in, and that is the correct way. This one, let's go ahead and flip it. That's going to swing that way. So I'm going to move that door over a little bit in here. And I'm going to do the same thing with this door right here. Now nobody's going to put a dimension on that, so as far as it's located, we can cover that possibly with a general note that's going to give the understanding that we're going to leave enough room for doors and their frames from other walls so that we allow for casings to be put on there. Okay, let's take a look at this door right here. I'm going to go, and that is door number 2. So I'm going to go back to my door schedule, find door number 2. That's a 3.0 by 6.8. I know my front door is a 3.0 by 6.8, so I am going to copy that one. I'm going to copy it from, let's say, right here, and place it somewhere right into there. I'm going to go ahead and move it, and I'm going to move it from mid between 2 points, which are this and this, and I'm going to move it right to there. And so that looks pretty good. I've actually got a little bit of room there to be able to put my casing. Just want to double check if there is any reason why we need maybe more space in there, because oftentimes you will have some equipment along this wall, whether it's the panels, sometimes you'll have a central vac, you may have a number of little different items. So maybe what I want to do is I want to give a little bit more distance in there. So let's go ahead and let's move this over, and let's move this over about, make sure it's about 6 inches total. This is about where we were. Almost ended up perfectly to what we wanted there. Okay, so we've got the right doors there. Let's go ahead and now let's go to our garage doors. Those are listed as 14. Let's go to our schedule right here. 14, they're 9.0 by 7 foot high overhead garage doors. Let's go to our doors right in here, and we've got pockets, overhead sectional. Let's use the overhead 4 window. I'm going to place one right here, and I'm going to place, actually it's asking for which direction I'm going to put it in, so it's a 2-part process. Place one right there, and I'm going to highlight both of them, and I'm going to change the size to 9 foot wide, and now I'm going to change them to the right location. Let's go ahead and remove that extra door that I put in here. I'm going to go ahead and move this one. Let's move this from mid between 2 points, perpendicular to that, and repeat move. Let's select that door, enter, select mid between 2 points, and place that there. Right there. So there we go. So that looks pretty good. Okay, that looks excellent. No, all we've got a couple of more doors to put in and we should be doing pretty well. Let's go ahead and let's find this sliding glass door back here. That door itself is going to be, let's see what we've got, bifold shatterproof 3.0 wood frame tempered sliding glass door. It looks like it's 6.0 wide by 6.8. So let's go ahead and find it over here. And we've got a sliding double full light. That's exactly the one we want. I'm going to place it right here for now. And I'm going to change the size of it to 6 foot wide by 6 foot 8 inches high. So most of our doors are 6 foot 8 with the exception of the garage doors. And they are all, basically the vertical alignment is based on the threshold down here. So let's go ahead and move our sliding glass door. I'm finding the point which is mid between 2 points. So that finds the midpoint even though there's nothing to snap to. And I'm moving it to where I wanted that door to be. Now, notice on this specific door, and I think there may be some other doors that you could have selected, they also show a threshold. We want to be able to modify that. So what we need to do is we need to highlight the door, and once again when we go to edit door style, we're going to make some modifications there. This time we're not going to modify any dimensions, but we're going to go to the tab that says display properties. If you notice, there are two highlighted sections. One is plan and the other one is threshold plan. We're going to go ahead and undo the threshold plan. We don't want to show a threshold. We're going to take that outside edge and we're going to show it differently with our slab edge. The one thing that I am noticing is, and I need to, this one doesn't matter so much. This is laying in there perfectly the way that we wanted. But this one, notice that the frame is also a little bit too small. So I need to go back into edit door style. This time I am going to go to dimensions and I'm going to auto adjust to width of wall. And now that is exactly the way that we want it. I think I can take most of these dimensions off right now, or these guidelines off. Let's take those off. Got one door here that I still am not finished with. I'm going to take that one. You can take all of these off right here. And let's go ahead and finish off this level. I think that's it. I think we've got one more door in here. Let's go ahead and let's see what door that was. It was tagged as a number 2 door. So let's check. Door number 2 was a 3.0 by 6.8. So let's go ahead and copy that one from here to here. And I'm going to move it from mid between 2 points. Now the way that I'm doing this, I'm holding down the shift key and I'm right clicking and I get usually my snap points in there, but one of the ones that you don't get when you just go directly from the snap points down below is this mid between 2 points. I use that all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and click mid between 2 points right here, and I'm going to go ahead and snap the midpoint that I want, and I want to move that down to here, and there I've located my door and I'm swinging it out. Now once again, I think they show the door swinging in, but I think I may want it to swing out. I've got a little bit of concern. That's something we can always change, but I have a little bit of concern with that door swinging in and possibly hitting the top of the garage doors when they're fully open. So we may create a conflict in there. One of the things that you have is when you have doors swinging in or out, a lot of the times it can depend on what region of the United States or where you're building. Usually doors will swing in if you've got issues with snow piling up outside your door, as opposed to down here maybe in South Florida or some hurricane prone areas where what you want is you want the door to be able to swing out so that it's got a little bit more support from that imposing wind load that may be coming in. So for now, that's something that we're going to try to take care of a little bit later. I think we've done pretty good here. Let's take a look. I'm looking right now as we go around at any additional doors, closet doors that I've missed, anything like that. We can always add those later. And so what I've done here is I think I've done pretty well. I want to go ahead and I want to start drawing maybe a quick outline and a depth point layer that I can change later on a 0 layer to show where my fireplace edge is going to be. Now to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert a X reference. I'm going to bring in the basement because we laid that out previously. So I'm going to go to the insert command, go to attach. I'm going to find my construct for basement. First I'm going to check, make sure I'm in the right project, which I am. Go back to constructs, click on basement, click open, and I'm going to do it as an overlay. That's extremely important, and I am going to put it at -9 feet. I'm going to do OK, and let's see what we've got. Hold on one second. Okay, so what I want to be able to do is bring in that basement, which I've done, and let's go ahead. I'm going to unisolate it. I already brought it in as an XREF. Just going to bring it in temporarily. So I'm going to go ahead and end object isolations, and I'm going to find out exactly where this 8-inch wall was located in here. I can probably, the easiest way for me to do that would be almost to draw a rectangle here, and let's offset it 8 inches. That's going to represent the block. Now I can go ahead and I'm going to unload that. I'm going to explode. This outside line is what I want, so I no longer need that one. And I can actually just drag that guy into here. So this represents where my fireplace is going to be located. So I'm just going to leave that for now in that layer. I'm going to save that drawing. Now what I can do is let's go to the upper level, and let's do the same thing with the upper level that we just did with the lower, or the main level. Let's take a look at our drawings, and let's see what we've got in the upper level. There's our drawings for the upper level. First thing I'm going to be doing is locating some center lines for this. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to be at depth points again, and we're going to do this relatively quickly. It shouldn't take much time in here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one, enter here, and this one they want to do at 6 foot 10 over, right to there. Now this one we definitely want to center sort of in that spa area, so I'm going to go ahead and locate a mid between 2 points, this wall and this wall, and locate it there. And what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and offset 2 feet in each direction. That's going to give me the center of what I want in there. I'm going to go ahead and I can delete this right in here. And we have no more windows in here. We only have 3 in here. We have none on the side. We've got a couple located back out in here. I'm going to go ahead and do them at 6 feet and 6 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this over. And this one is going to be located, center is going to be there. Copy this one over, and the center of that one is going to be 6 foot further over. I got those 2 windows. I've got a window in here, which is an awning window that's located here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it. They're marking it at about 3'4" from this wall, right in here. So I'm going to mark it about 4 feet over from here. So I'm going to go ahead and I can either offset or move or copy. So I'm going to go ahead and put that at 4 feet over. That puts it somewhere in there. I'm going to want this one centered in the room, so I'm going to do a line in here, which is mid between 2 points. That looks pretty good right in there, and I think that takes care of all the exterior windows. Now let's look at what window types we need to put in here. So this one's a G. That's the only one that's going to be a G in there. Let's take a look at what we've got on our window. So that's a 5.0 by 3'6" high. So, and that is a glider, okay? In this case, what we have it called right in here is a glider. They have it as a slider. So let's go ahead and let's find our gliding, let's find it. I'm on doors, that's why I can't find it. Right in here, glider, located right here. And I'm going to locate the right size of it. So I want that to be 5 foot wide. And I want that to be 3'6" high. So that's 3'6" high, and I'm going to go ahead and move it from midpoint. Let's find that midpoint right there and locate it right there. All right, so that's a good window in there, even though it's not centered. let's see what these other two windows are. So let's go back to there, and these two are E windows. They look like they're going to be single casements. So let's go back, and our windows are 3'6" by 3'6" casement windows. Let's go ahead and find our casement windows. These are single casements. So I'm going to place one here, and I'm going to size it correctly, then I'm going to copy it. So here we go. We got 3'6" by 3'6". Now there's a couple of reasons why they're not 4-foot windows or anything like that, and probably has to do with either you want to make sure that you've got protections so that they're not too low and children or so on can fall out accidentally. You don't want them too high either, because in that case what ends up happening is that you can't access it to be able to get out if you wanted to. So you got two conditions there that are sort of fire related. The other one might be is that we have a roof over the porch and it's coming up, so that we don't want these two windows too low, or else they might conflict with it. Let's go ahead and let's find the windows in the back. Those windows are D windows. They look like they're casement windows too. So let's go ahead and C and D. Those are 4.0 wide by 3'6" high. Let's go ahead and make those double casement for the same reasons we did that downstairs. So let's go to double casements, and I'm going to place one right in there. We're going to make that one 4 foot wide and 3'6" high. And of course we can always modify these later. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one. I'm going to move it from the midpoint to here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it. Let's say from there to there. Now this is an awning window. It's a little bit different. So let's take a look at what that one is. That's 4 foot wide by only 2 foot high. This is going to create a special little condition that we're going to take care of right away. So this one is an awning window. If you notice right in here when I place it, it's telling me that it's 4 foot wide but only 2 foot high. Well, take a look at what happens when I change the properties of this. Obviously the 4 foot wide doesn't have any effect, but watch when I change the height of it, and I change that to 2, the window disappears. Well, it's really there. The reason that the window has disappeared is because we have what's called a global cut plane on a plan. A plan is sort of like taking a building and horizontally cutting across it and looking down at a certain elevation. If you look down at your status bar in here, you can tell right here our global cut plane is 3'6". Well, guess what happens? Our global cut plane here is occurring below our window, so we are not seeing it. What we need to do is we need to modify our cut plane so that this window will show up. Now globally we don't want to do that everywhere, so we can actually change it just for this wall, or this wall was broken and it was a segmented wall, we could change it just for that segment. Let's go ahead and change it for this entire wall. I'm going to highlight the wall, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Edit Wall Style. I'm going to go ahead and go to Display Properties. Under the plan, which is highlighted, I'm going to override it right in here. And if you look at one of the tabs that we get here, it's called Cut Plane. I'm going to override the cut plane, and I'm going to go ahead and change this one to 5'6". I'm going to do OK, OK, and voila, our window shows up. Now, that is the right size window. It is showing up. Now I just want to make sure that I center it where I want it to. There it is. We've got one more window to show in here, and then we've got a few floors to lay out. So let's take a look at what we've got for that window right in here. Let me go ahead and go back to our correct level, and that is an F. And so our window for is 6 foot wide by 4 foot high, and that's going to be a double casement. So let's go to our double casement right in here. I could have copied it from somewhere else. So let's go ahead and highlight it, and the properties for that are going to be 6 foot wide by 4 foot high. Let's go ahead and move this. And place that right there. Now there's a reason why this one is so high up. It's because of possibly privacy, but there really is no reason why these need to be 3'6" high. So I'm going to go ahead and change those to 4 foot. I can see these because of the problems potentially with the roof that's going to be coming in, but I think we're pretty well established on all the windows now. Let's go ahead and let's start placing doors. And so let's take a look at our door schedule and also take a look at our plans. We've got a 5 door, we've got a pocket door here that's 6. I'm going to start working my way down, and another one here that's 7. So we got 2 pockets, 6 and 7, and this one right here that's 5. Let's take a look at 6, 7, and 5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to 5. That's 2'6" by 6'8". That is a swing door. So I'm going to go here and go to my doors tab, hinge single, place it right here. Just place it for now. Let's take our properties. Our properties at 3'0", so let's change that to what they're asking for, which is 2'6". And the height is 6'8". That looks good. Now the swing is supposedly swinging up against there. I think that works out pretty good. I'm just going to bring it over a little bit more. Looks like it might stick out a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm going to take another look and see what they've got. Okay, that's good enough. Let's take a look at 6 and 7. What they've got listed there. Those two are pockets, and they're both 2'6" by 6'8". So let's go ahead and put 2 pocket doors right here. So I'm setting up the first one right here. Let's go with pocket single. Place one here for now. And I've got the next one. Place that one right in there. Now notice the door add command again just defaults to the standard door here up in the panel. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is go to here, select again pocket single, and put that right in here. And both sizes there are 2'6", so I want to make sure to highlight both of them. Change the properties there to 2'6" by 6'8". That looks great. Now I just want to see which way they are opening into. So this one should be opening in the other direction, so I'm going to flip it. And this one over here is opening in this direction, so I'm going to flip it in the opposite direction. Then what I'm going to do is go ahead and move it over. And again, my note will probably allow me to put it close without really having to locate it too close. Now the closer I put this one over in here, just leaving enough for our casings and so on, the more room I'm going to have for my bath deck here for the big tub that we're going to be placing in there. We've now got a door number 5 which matches this one that's going into our closet, so all I need to do is to copy this one. I'm going to copy it from that wall to this wall in here. It looks like it did not want to go directly into there, so I'm going to move it and try to place it here somewhere. There we go. I'm going to move this more towards the center, and I'm going to be swinging it not only in, but swinging it in the other direction like they show. You can always relocate that slightly. I want to make sure I get enough hanging on both sides, so centering it is probably the smartest thing to do. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I think we're pretty well set here. Let's go ahead and let's find out what door number 4 is in terms of our door schedule. So door number 4 is also a 2'8" door, which is very typical going into bedrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and put 4 doors going into number 4 doors, which are 2'8" by 6'8", going into these two and to the master. And they are swing doors, which match these doors right in here. So I'm just going to copy that one, place one here, and I'm going to place one here and here. I'm going to go ahead and move them into location and place them far enough over in here. That looks like it leaves just enough room to do it, but right now I still have them only as 2'6" doors. So let's go ahead and go to properties, change that as a 2'8" door, And what that's telling me is that I may need a little bit more room in here. I'm going to do the same thing in here. I'm going to change this one to a 2'8" door. And I'm going to move this in here this way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my stretch command. I don't want to make this any less, but I'm going to take a little tiny bit out of these two. So I'm going to use my stretch with a crossing selection, hit enter, and I'm going to go ahead and just move this over about 2 inches. That leaves me a little bit more room for our doorways and our casings on both sides. I think that's going to work out beautifully. Here comes the other one. Let's go to the repeat the move command, hit in here, and give ourselves a little bit more room in there. I'm going to definitely want to flip this door over this way. Alright, that looks great. Got an 11 door here, which is a bifold. It looks like it's a double bifold going into the linen. And I've got a number 4 door here that's going into the bathroom. That looks like it's also going to be a 2'8" door. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and copy it over to here. Now again, this could be a 2'6" door. I usually only do 2'6" doors that go into bathrooms. I'm going to move this over and change that door to what we wanted, which is a 2'8" door. So that looks great. Let's flip it in the right direction, and later on we'll go ahead and locate it so that it's located closer to the wall, so that it can, when it's open, it can swing against that. So that looks great. We've got a couple of bifolds right here. We've got a bifold here, and then we've got another special one, and I'm going to show you how to make what we call a bypass door there. So let's go ahead and let's place our double bifold door right here. So here's our bifold double. I'll place that right in here. That looks like it's very, very small space for double bifold. And let's see what they call for in 11. So door number 11 is actually a 3'6" by 6'8". Even if it's a 4'0", I would probably tend to even make that a single bifold. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at the properties. If it's a 4'0" by 6'8", okay, there it is. It looks like it might be just a little bit too big for the space. So that's one of the reasons why they did it as 3'6". So we're going to make it 3'6", but I'm going to change it to a single bifold. So I don't have single bifold yet in the drawing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place a single bifold in my drawing somewhere. I'm going to hit enter and just place one in there. Now I've already got it. I need to go ahead and repeat. Let's go ahead and do that again. Bifold single, hit enter, place it, rotate that way, and now I've got one in there. So let's go ahead and I can easily now change this one. So let's go to properties and let's go bifold single. I think that looks a lot better. I can delete this. And there we go. I'm going to sort of center this a little bit more. I notice this door has a slightly different jamb or frame to it than the other ones do. We could change that if we wanted to, but I think we're going to be fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing in here because this is going to be a little bit tight to do a larger bifold in here because we're going to have a little chase area that we're going to frame out right in here. So let's go ahead and let's move this guy in over this way. We may even have to change the size of that one, and let's change that to a 3'0". And let's move that over. Now once again, we can take a look at this later on, but if we take a look at our plan, we've got a chase that's going to be coming up from there, from downstairs, which is going to be providing the air conditioning onto there, and it sort of shows a dead wall in there. I probably would not do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this 4" wall, place it over to here, and I'm going to move this back over, and I'm going to leave maybe a 10" chase in there. That should be about 10 inches there. Inside clear. And maybe I'll move it in just another 2 inches to give our duct that's coming up sufficient clearance. So that's about 12 inches right in there for clearance. Okay, so here it shows a bypass door. So if we take a look at the door schedule, we've got what's called a bypass. It's 5.0 by 6.0. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put, if we take a look at our sliding double full light, I'm going to go ahead and put that one in there like that. I'm going to go ahead and flip it to the outside. I'm going to take out my threshold and fix the dimensions for the edges right in here. So once again, I don't want to change it necessarily on this existing style. This time I'm going to go ahead and copy the style and create a brand new one called bypass. So I'm going to right click with it highlighted. Instead of clicking edit door style, I'm going to copy door style and assignment. I'm going to go to general, and instead of this I'm going to call it bypass. Bypass blank double or dash double. So there we go. And then for our dimensions, I'm going to go ahead and auto adjust, and we're good to go there. That looks great. Now the only thing I need to do is to go back to it. Now I can edit the door style because it's a unique door style. I'm going to go to display properties, and I'm going to, just like I did downstairs, I'm going to turn off my threshold plan, and I'm left with a brand new door style. If we take a look at the properties right here, we got bypass double, and let's go ahead and make it the right size now. So let's go ahead and change it to 5'0" wide by 6'8" high. And it looks a little bit too big, doesn't it? So let's go ahead and change that to a 4'0". I think that'll work a little bit better. Beautiful. That should be just about right. And I'm going to try to center it in the closet as best I can right there. So I think we're done with all our doors. So if we are missing any, we can come back later on. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to go ahead and delete these. And then all we have left is our basement level. So let's take a look at how we're going to fix that. So I'm going to go ahead and save this drawing. I'm going to go back to my main. I'm going to take a look there. It looks pretty good. I'm going to save that. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and open up my basement. Let's go to the top view right in here. And I think we only have a couple of doors located here in the basement. So let's finish those up. I'm going to go back to my basement plan. And let's start with door number 5 right in here. That's going into bedroom 4, and there's bedroom 5. Those should actually be 2'8", and here they have a number 5 right into there. I think that's going to be a unique door also, so we're going to have to make a modification to that one. I don't think this one needs to be 2'8". This one I think needs to be either a 3'0", because we've got a lot of equipment in there and we want to be able to get it in. So let's take a look at what we've got. Let's go back there. That is door number 6 going into that utility area. So door number 6, it says it's a pocket door. That doesn't make sense. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to change that to a swing door. So let's go ahead, and 6 is going to be a swing door. We're going to make those all pretty much swing doors. So let's go up to here. And I'm going to disregard quite a bit of the door schedule there, and from experience I'm going to go ahead and start putting in what I think needs to be there. I'm going to go with hinge single. We've got one located in here. I'm still in conceptual. I want to change that to 2D wireframe, and I'm just going to go ahead and start copying these over. First I'm going to change this to, let's say that one is just a closet area in there, so I'm going to use 2'6". The height should not be 7 feet, that's more a commercial height, and change that to 6'8" in terms of the height. I'm going to move this door over to somewhere in here, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it, opening out that way. I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to go from mid between 2 to, let's say, this midpoint. And I'm going to flip this one back this way and change its size to 2'8". So we can get furniture a little bit easier in and out of that. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. Let's just do it from there to this point right there. And I'm going to go ahead and extend this wall, which I should have done before, down to there. And I'm going to trim this out. Let's try that again. So let's trim this. Take that out of there. And let's copy this door from there to, let's just say perpendicular right in there. Notice it snapped to a different wall. All we got to do is try to fix that. And let's make sure it snaps to where we want it to. Let's move this into here, and we've got a little bit of an issue, right? All right, so we need a 2'8" door, and I don't think we have enough room for our casings. It looks like we barely have enough room. So if I was to find the center point in here, it looks like I barely have the 3 inches that I need. So I may want to pull all of this a little bit. Let's see what our distance is here that we have. So we've got 3'2". That is sufficient to do it. But we're talking about our casings are going to be the smallest type of casing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and modify this just a little bit more. There are some issues here that I still want to resolve. I can extend this wall down to there so that it cleans up. I could just pull this up another 2 inches, so I could use a stretch command here. And I sort of got the same thing happening here. I want to move this up a little bit. We got plenty of room in that one. So this is part of that give and take. So I'm going to use a stretch command with a crossing selection. And all I'm going to do is stretch right along here. And stretch right along here. And I'm going to pull all of this up just 2 inches. Now it's going to make my fireplace a little bit smaller, but it gives me a little bit more room in the hallway here, which I always like to have. And I'm going to recenter that. Gives me a little bit more room for this door down in here, so that works out pretty good. I'm going to move that guy down a little bit. And of course, if this becomes unbearable and I need a bigger fireplace, I don't know why they have that barbecue here anyways. We can always pull this down a little bit. I like the cleanliness of this continuous line going across in here. So that's one of the reasons why we did that. Okay, I've got another door going into this bathroom right there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this door, let's say from there, and I'm going to copy it to this wall. Again, it snapped to another wall that I didn't want, and I'm just going to bring it up to here. And I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way to the left right here and change its size to a 2'6". Gives me a little bit more room. And right here it looks like I got another glider, the same type of wall that I had before. What I could do is go up to the upper, and I can take these two, I can clipboard copy, and now I can go back to the basement. And even though I may not have had that style here as a double, I can now clipboard paste, and I've got that style right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy here, from here to there. Once again, it snaps to where I don't want it to. And let's just carry it from there to right here. Well, let's go ahead and just put a door there, and then we're going to change the style. So I'm just going to put a pocket single right here. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to change the properties to a bypass double. There it is. I'm going to move it over to here and see what a good size it's going to be that'll fit in there. Right now it shows that it's 3 feet. I'm going to change that to 4 foot and make sure that is 6'8". Locate it right there. I could even go bigger. I think I might go ahead and change that to a 5 foot or 4'8". I think 5 foot's going to be fine. And move that down. And then of course the last thing I've got to do is I've got a star. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. and I'm going to go ahead and start putting the windows that we've got on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a couple of guidelines first to begin with. So I'm going to make sure I am in the points right now. I'm going to put that in there. The first window that they've got is I'm going to go ahead and copy this over, and I'm going to put that in at 5'8". They have 5'7", and then they've got a line coming off of here. Could probably center it on this, which might look a little bit better, but that's fine. I'm just going to go with that for now. And then we've got, I'm going to go ahead and copy this one and go over 4 feet. And then I've got another 7 feet to the next one. I'm going to copy that and copy that over 7 feet. Might be a little too close to the edge, but we'll see. And then I've got another one in here that they're saying is from this point right here is going to be 5'10". So I'm going to go ahead and copy this over 5'10". And again, I'm trying to eliminate fractions, so these are working out okay. So I'm going to look at K window style. All of these are K. So let's look at see what are JK. Those are 4.0 by 4.0. So let's go back to our layout, and I'm going to find a let's see what type they were. I didn't quite notice that. So they're 4.0 by sliders. Okay, so let's go back into there. I'm going to go down in here. I'm going to go back to my Windows tag, and I'm going to look for glider. I'll place my first one right in here, and I'm going to put these on my block wall. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my size in here. Now look at the frame. Again, the frame corrections that we did on these gliders and so on was in the other plan. So we need to go ahead and edit the style. So I'm going to edit the window style, go to dimensions and change this to auto. That looks great. Now these are 4.0 by 4.0, so I'm changing this to 4 foot by 4 foot. There we go. Now I can move this and go from there to there. That looks great. Let's go ahead and copy this one. And let's see if I can actually get this to snap to the right wall. So once again, I did not, so I'm just going to go ahead and rather than going through that exercise again, I'm going to go ahead and get the glider in here and place one right in there to begin with. Correct the size and do 4 foot by 4 foot. And then go ahead and start locating it in its right location. So first I'm going to move it. Find the center point, which is probably somewhere right in there. That looks better. And then all I need to do is to copy these and copy it from there to there and copy it from there to there. Now I'm going to erase my guidelines. And we can take a look at what we've got. We've got all our doors and all our windows located on our basement. Now, one of the things I'm going to show in the next video is how do we resolve this issue. Because right now, because we use 2 separate walls, we are not using a composite wall. This window is only cut through the exterior block wall. Right now, if you were to look at this, this would just be a wall covering this other window. So we're going to fix that here in our next video. And we're going to go ahead and we're also going to make the same corrections on our main for this 4-inch wall right here. Let's take one quick look at the upper. We've got all our windows in here. So in our next video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go ahead and make those corrections I just mentioned. And we're going to start putting some additional information in terms of door tags and begin to populate my drawing with 2D line work. Such as the fireplace, such as countertops, start bringing in appliance blocks and other items that we're going to be, first of all, finding the proper layers for them. Everything that we've drawn so far has been introducing its own layers, and we don't have to create any new layers. We're going to have to do that pretty soon. So let's take a look and see what this looks like from our models point of view. So let's go ahead and make sure we've saved every single one of these. I want to save my basement, save my main drawing, and save my upper drawing. And then we can look at our model. And because we've saved them and we've made some modification, let's go ahead and put that in there. And it looks like we're doing pretty good. Obviously, we need some corrections right here that we need to do to get cutouts for our doorway and so on. There are our windows down below, all our upstairs windows. There's also a number of changes we're going to make in here in terms of what we're doing. So the next video, we're going to be going and doing all that 2D line work, as I mentioned before. And then eventually we're going to be doing both the floor structures and our roof plans.